oil, gas, and AI applications there. That's a very important area for our country. What dividends does a company that applies AI has? The Digital Technology Director Alisa Melnikova from Sibur, AI in oil and gas, how to earn tens of billions with digitization.
Добрый день, дорогие друзья по искусственному интеллекту.
Hi all,
Давайте я тогда
friends,
рассказать
AI enthusiasts. I am going to give the example of Sibur
инструменты искусственного интеллекта, для чего он нам
to
нужен.
tell you why we use AI, why do we need it, and how can it be used in oil and gas. Now, I'll start with the following. Well, with one figure, 45 billion rubles, that's the economic effect that we got in more than 5 years as we move to digitization. And I'm not only talking about AI. AI is delivered only half of that economic effect. But before moving to AI, I think it is important to share with you what were we doing for the last 5 years. Now, why this effect is important? We have never engaged in AI for the sake of AI or blockchain for the sake of blockchain. We wanted to make sure that this is applicable and in line with the goals of the company. We're a manufacturing company. We want to give more tons of our produce to save on energy and save on costs, to improve the profitability of the business and the efficiency. And now, our international consultants were saying that the effect from the digitization will be around 10% from the EBITDA in manufacturing companies. It might be more in other services companies, for example, but manufacturing companies are the companies with all this heavy machinery, with the capacity that is already set in this machinery, and plus 10%. That was their figure. They didn't quite understand. We didn't quite understand where to take it, how to deliver that. But actually, 45 billion. It's more or less like that. More or less 10%, and we're talking about the services, the maintenance, the repairs, logistics, procurement. All of these areas were improved. Now, what have we done in 5 years? Now, we have started to drive internal competences in all of the digitization areas. Why is it important? Because people are asking, why do you need that? Because there are a lot of IT digital companies that can deliver all the services to you. Yeah, obviously, we use external solutions, for sure. And we are going to use ready-made solutions. That's okay with us. But checking the hypothesis is the road for success for any project. You have to ask the right question. Why are we doing that? What do we want to achieve as a result? And this is why we spend a lot of time on asking the right questions, to put the right tasks. The next thing we did is we implemented the system for assessing the hypothesis in terms of its economic effects and costs that we need for the implementation of this project. And basically, the effect was achieved thanks to this approach, actually, because if we have dismissed that, we could have gotten a negative result due to digitization, because digitization is not free, you know. So you have to think about the costs as well. Moving on. We created a platform processing data. It was the initial stages of our digitization effort. Then we implemented the change management system in the company that helped to improve the quality of the projects that we delivered, and making sure that it is in line with the expectations from the project. Then the system for controlling and making sure that the solutions that are purchased are actually used, because sometimes the solutions are purchased, procured, but not used, and that's unacceptable. Then creating our own digital products across the perimeter of the company that in 2022 enlarged dramatically, and now it's 2023. Our task is to increase the share of the Russian solutions in IT landscape. Actually, the solutions that were created in the last 5-6 years are Russian-made solutions, so we actually can do all these technologies in Russia. And not only Sibur, actually, all of our technology partners are doing that, are doing technology, digital solutions. 20, 15 years ago, there were no base automation solutions. So now we have to replace these solutions, this base automation solution, because this is one of the focuses, by the way, to make sure that we're not dependent on the vendors from the unfriendly countries. Another major area is generation of new hypotheses for AI applications. 69 projects are planned by us. They're in our portfolio. Creating new labs, that's another area. Why am I talking about that, actually? The entire digitization is actually needed to make sure that we can actually apply AI. Because it won't be possible without that. Without basic digitization, it's not possible, because if the process is not digitized, there are no data. If there are no data, there's no AI. If the solutions are not applied, nothing will happen as well. If we cannot deliver the project on time and check hypothesis, nothing will work out as well. So everything I'm talking about was actually required to make sure that AI applications deliver. Now, why AI is one of the major levers of increasing efficiency. Any manufacturing company, whatever it does, whatever products it produces, even if it's a continuous production cycle, all business process of the company is a chain of making discrete decisions. So there are people who make decisions in terms of what to produce, what should be the grade of the produced goods, how much raw materials do we procure, what is the price of that, do we sell our inventory in 1 week or in 2 weeks, how do you organize the delivery, what transport are you using for that, how much do you pay for that, what should be the discount for the customer, what customer should you select. So whatever the process is, it is the chain of making decisions. So all decisions are made by people. This is how it works right now. But what are they using to make a decision? Usually they have their expert knowledge to make a decision. And they make the decisions based on the data. If they have data, it can be analyzed, interpreted, and calculate, and the decision will be accurate. But obviously, the more data you have, the more time you need to make a decision, because you need to look through all that data. So without data and without some serious analysis tools, and the recommendation mechanism, you won't be able to make a decision that will be optimal, whatever part of the process you're talking about. So that our next step, because, like in previous years, we were implementing AI-driven solutions, but we were removing some obvious inefficiencies. What do I mean by that? Obvious inefficiencies in processes, like the machinery stopped, failed, for example. We don't get the money from that equipment. That's kind of obvious, right? We made a model to make sure that we avoid these unplanned stops, and this is how we increase efficiency, increase our margins. In 5 years of digitization, almost 6 years of digitization, there are no obvious inefficiencies. So the question is, what are we doing in the next step? And for the next step, we decided to put a task for ourselves to implement the systems to support the decision-making process, or some of the decisions should be made automatically in all of the areas of the company's activities. A few examples from Sibur's life. Now, this is the early digitization example, and I'm talking about when we experienced a hike in efficiency. Now, the extruder of the polypropylene PPR. You have seen that it works like a meat mincer, using granulars and other produces PPR. There was a year where this extruder failed 19 times. So this is where digitizers focused on in 2014. And back then, there was a model created that based on the data and based on the data from the sensors of this process showed why this extruder stopped. And after the model was implemented, we were able to get 0 failures. Now, the dehydration of propane. Now, these are the dehydration of propane means that the hydrogen molecules are removed from the carbon molecules. The same problem there was a problem with the wires, so we wanted to resolve this problem thanks to the implementation of this model. Similar cases, we looked at all production facilities, and Sibur has more than 25 production facilities, and obviously if you talk about the production units, there are dozens of them, hundreds of them, so we looked at these cases in detail. As for the effect, sometimes it was 10 million, 20 million. 3 billion was the economic effect from one of the solutions. We call our system Econs. Now, Econs is a system. It's like a dashboard of speedometers. And they recalculate the dependencies of between the economy of the production in rubles and correlates them to the parameters that we have. And I wouldn't say that these AI tools that we use are very powerful. The algorithms are quite simple, yet just having that solution when you have this dashboard in the operator room and all the operators are seeing whether the production facility earns money or loses money. That's a different thing. That's a psychological factor, because if you have this data in some database in the automated system and no one sees them, that's one thing. But if you see how much the company loses, that's another psychological effect that it has. So yes, there are data and there is some psychological effect. 3 billion, that was the total effect by the end of 2022. Hundreds of initiatives chipped in and contributed to this financial effect. Now, another complex of solutions were implemented for the marketing and for the sales, forecasting the demand, forecasting the quotes. As for the quotes, actually, when you talk about these evaluations, like about euros and dollars. Everyone knows about these ones. But if you talk about different grades of polypropylene and other materials, that you can't really say how much they cost on the market, because there's not a lot of materials like that. The better we understand the forecast of the market, the better we plan our production and our sales, and helps us to increase the marginality. The margins helps us to give better discounts and to understand where to put our products to. We have also implemented the lead generation, digital lead generation. We have analyzed the structure of the consumption of the products of the products that we produce based on our materials in different regions and different markets. And by knowing the structure of the demand, of the consumption, we understand what to offer to which customers and how to organize the cross-sales. Another case, we try to look at the end-to-end value addition chain. We looked at that when it ends at our customers and customers of our customers. We didn't put a task to find hypothesis by using some database. We don't approach this approach.
First, we need to collect as much data as possible, and then you generate hypotheses. No, that was not our approach. We try to formulate specific tasks and specific queries. This time, the task was that the customer had problems with its film. It would break very often. So we analyzed the data from their equipment, from our equipment, and we did identify the reason. We saw that the reason was that at one of the machines within this chain, if you reduce the temperature by 1 degree, just 1 degree, that reduces the breakage of film by 10 times. In that case, the effect of that case was 200 million rubles. You can have a lot of cases like this. The only thing that is a bit of a hindrance for us at the moment is that since import substitution is happening not just in the digital space, but also in small tonnage chemistry, new catalyzers, new additives, and so clients and we ourselves are seeing that equipment is being produced by new brands according to new procedures, and so the quality is not as stable as we would like. But as soon as the quality stabilizes, we would like to recommence this work and provide this service to our clients. To sum up, I would say that these use cases with the biggest effect in the left column on the slide, these examples are from manufacturing and maintenance, logistics and sales, and then year 2024 and going forward, our main goals are, well, the first goal is to adopt AI at all points of decision-making, for AI to assist people in making these decisions and maybe take over the controls where possible. To achieve that, we need to increase the digital maturity of all processes in the company. If the process is not digital, you will not be able to collect the data. And without data, you cannot do anything else. This digitization, that was needed precisely in order to then start adopting AI for decision-making. You can look at it from this angle. Before that, many decisions that we would implement, they looked as if the digital solutions are being implemented because they are convenient. The effect is small, but it's convenient. No, all these projects were prerequisites. For example, a mobile supervisor, people going around the site, inspecting equipment. A lot of these things can be done by drones and other machines, but still there are people who go around and inspect equipment. Mobile inspectors. What is the effect? Financial effect, probably. Now they're using not a sheet of paper, but a tablet. Yes, that's probably more convenient. But let's look at it from a different angle. We are collecting data about the equipment, its maintenance, its failure. We are collecting huge arrays of data in order to then make decisions on our maintenance strategies. High-quality development of maintenance strategies using AI tools. That is where the effect is enormous. One more area which we haven't really covered that much with AI tools is R&D. hypotheses in creating new materials and new manufacturing procedures, and also reducing the number of lab tests, which are quite labor-intensive and expensive, in favor of digital experiments. So we are testing hypotheses in a digital environment. We've also started this year a large number of AI and generative AI initiatives, specifically in this area. And in conclusion of my presentation, I would like to say a couple of words about why AI matters for us. This is a great lever for increasing the efficiency of business. This is a great tool for improving performance and productivity. There are a lot of economists saying that the biggest problem for many companies is going to be not money, not budget, but talent, staffing, not just in IT, across all industries. The HR deficit is deteriorating. I think one of the tools that can help us with the staff deficit is increasing productivity. How do you increase productivity? You use AI. These solutions, they can help you save days, weeks, months of work. The third thing I wanted to mention is there is this big topic about whether AI is going to replace humans, but I think the division of labor is such that people formulate queries and AI tries to provide the right answer. So we are learning to ask questions, AI is learning to give us answers. There's a great picture on the slide. Speaking of the right way of asking questions, this is a skill. And you need to develop this skill in adults and in children, because you cannot communicate with AI the same way you communicate with other humans. You need to learn to formulate. If we implement all the initiatives that we've planned, I think, and if other manufacturing companies do the same, I think we are going to be A-OK with business efficiency and productivity and HR deficit. Thank you very much. I'm ready for your questions. Thank you for your presentation. Lots of questions, lots of impressive use cases and the examples that you've drawn. Unfortunately, we have the time for just a few of them. What do you think are the limits in applying AI in oil and gas in Russia and in the world? The maximum capacity? Yes. Well, I said that in the manufacturing industry, the maximum capacity is determined by the equipment, the machines. The disrupt in possible in digital business, where people create services that have been unheard of previously, that's not how it works in oil and gas, because there are plants that take years and years to build. It's hard to replicate this business. Once you've built the plant, it is going to manufacture, is going to produce exactly the products it was designed to produce. So the maximum capacity is maximum efficiency. Maximum efficiency is when you use all your capacity, minimum resources to provide maximum amount of tons with the equipment that you have, zero idle time, zero failures, no staffing redundancy. So that would be the maximum. In Russia and in the world, well, human imagination, last whole year trying to build the hypotheses of where we should start with the generative AI, and we see the biggest potential in maintenance. Well, we have already implemented an AI-based solution which is designed to help us with diagnostics. But the operator, of course, would find it easier to get hypotheses in text form about the possible causes of breakdown, of failure, with recommendations about what to do. Because working with mathematics, with numbers, it's hard. It requires lots of expertise. And if we are able to adopt generative AI models for such cases, that would be very promising. And also R&D, as I said, based on huge amounts of data, including data from outer sources, we could generate recommendations for ourselves about the new formulations, for example, and the properties of new materials. So you set the properties and you generate the formulation, or you predict the properties based on the formulation of the product that has already been issued. So if I understood you correctly, you can use generative AI in your work, and you can also actively use the results of other specialists in addition to AI. Well, of course, you cannot just limit yourselves to the knowledge that you generate within your company. Nobody does that. First, you study the market, if possible. Thank you very much. This applause is for you, Alisa Melnikova. Very interesting about implementing a state-of-the-art technology in such a challenging business.